to get ready. This is net control. I'll be standing by for 1 minute.
And they're okay about your audio's come up, your mic sounds like it's too close to your mouth, just to let you know. Take E0 away, Chipper, sir.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. This is N0 Camo. Good morning, Colorado, and welcome to the Colorado Preparedness Net. I'm going to be adjusting my audio a little bit through the net. This will be the second time I'm actually using the headset for the net. So at any time, if you can give me suggestions on my audio, I would definitely appreciate it. So, again, this is N0 Camo, November 0 Kilo Mike Oscar. My name is Jeremiah, net control this morning for the Colorado Preparedness Net, which is a directed net that meets each Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. local time, for discussion of preparedness for disasters and other events that could or have affected our beautiful state of Colorado. Anytime during the net may be interrupted for emergency or priority traffic. If there's any emergency or priority traffic during the net, please say break or mayday 3 times consecutively. Net control will acknowledge the station and break the net. Our zone operator will then take over to handle any emergency or priority traffic. At this time, is there any emergency or priority traffic? Please call net control now. Okay, hearing no emergency or priority traffic at this time, please remember during the net, if there's any emergency or priority traffic, please say break or mayday 3 times consecutively. The Colorado Preparedness Net will break, and the zone operator will handle any emergency or priority traffic. The Colorado Preparedness Net is hosted by the Colorado Connection. The Colorado Connection is a system of linked repeaters throughout the state of Colorado that has been maintained, that is maintained by volunteer amateur radio operators like us. For more information about the Colorado Connection, please visit colcon.org. That is Charlie Oscar Lima, CharlieOscarNovember.org. This is N0 Camo, net control for the Colorado Preparedness Net. At this time, we'll see if there's any announcements of preparedness or ham radio interest. Please call net control now. All right, our first announcement this morning from Net Control will be Carbon, C-A-R-B-E-N, that is Charlie Alpha Romeo Bravo Bravo November, has a few voice over IP phones. I believe they're the Cisco 7960s that are available for a small donation. I believe we are asking $5 for the phones to get hooked up Alright, to continue on with our announcements, if you're in the wide Denver metro area, there's a Simplex Preparedness Net on Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. on 146.550 megahertz. Simplex, and is hosted by Brian Q0BUM. If you know someone that would like to get their amateur radio license, upgrade their privileges, the Patriot DE team is testing throughout the state of Colorado. Please visit handstudy.org/sessions/0PCT to find out more information. Again, visit handstudy.org, look up $Whiskey Zero Papa Charlie Tango. The Mile High DE team tests every second Saturday of the month at our local ham radio outlet. Please visit ARRL.org, that's Alpha Romeo Romeo Lima.org, to find out more information about the Mile High team. Reset. This is N0 KMO November 0 Kilo Mike Oscar net control for the Colorado Preparedness Net this morning. If you're just joining us, today's topic is called State of Ready. Real quick brief on it. We'll be defining the differences between preparedness, readiness, and self-reliance. We'll be talking about these three pieces and how they all tie into everything we've been talking about as of this point forward. We'll talk about a little bit about radio, a little bit about some other topics in there and how they all relate into your state of ready. Alright, at this time, we'll start taking check-ins for the net. Just a couple of things before we take check-ins. If you're just listening to us this morning and just would like to hop on a computer, mobile device, and go to coloradoready.org and follow the links for the Colorado Preparedness Net and check in online for the count only, please feel free to do so. We'll see that you check in, and we right, hearing no corrections, let's go for another round of call sign suffixes B through L. That's Alpha through Lima. Please check in, give me your call sign and name slowly using phonetics. Please call net control now.
K0A2X, Kilo Echo Zero, Hotel Uniform X-Ray. Kilo Foxtrot Zero, Foxtrot X-Ray Alpha, Steve, Taylor County.
Kilo 7, Alpha Sierra Bravo, Eileen in Leadville.
Kilo Foxtrot Zero, India Alpha Lima, Jody in Brighton.
So Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot X-Ray Alpha. Steve, good morning. K7, Alpha Sierra Bravo. Eileen, good morning. And then I had Kilo Foxtrot 0, India Alpha Lima. Was that Jody or Cody? Please come back.
Jody, Juliet Oscar, Delta Yankee.
This is the Colorado Connection.
Good copy on that. Good copy on that. Thank you. Appreciate the check-in, Jody. Appreciate all the check-ins so far. All right, let's go ahead and move on to call sign suffixes. M through S. That is Mike through Sierra. Please call net control and give your call sign and name slowly using phonetics now.
So I'm at the back half of the alphabet with Vic.
K0 PRH Kilo 0 Papa Romeo Hotel Paul Denver.
Kilo Echo Zero, Hotel Uniform X-Ray, John, Kyle. Kilo Echo Zero, Mike, Charlie, Mark, Fort Collins.
All right, just to make sure I got everything. Let's see. It looks like I had Kilo Echo Zero Hotel Uniform X-Ray. I got you as a double check-in, but I have you down. Kilo Echo Zero Hotel Uniform X-Ray. Thank you for the check-in. I get Kilo Zero Papa Romeo Hotel Paul, and then I have Kilo Echo Zero Mike Charlie. Did I get that last call sign correct?
Roger that. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Alright, let's go for another round of call sign suffixes. Mike for Sierra, that is M through S. Please call net control, give me your call sign and name slowly using phonetics now. Hearing none, let's go ahead and move on to call sign suffixes. Tango for Zulu, that is T3. Call sign suffixes. Checking into the Colorado Preparedness Net this morning with call sign suffixes T through Z. Tango through Zulu. Please call net control, given your name, or call sign and name slowly using phonetics now.
Kilowatt, Charlie, 0, Victor, Foxtrot, Oscar. Kilowatt, Charlie, 0, Victor, Foxtrot, Oscar. Kurt in Denver.
This is Alpha Delta 0 Zulu Mike. HD0 dead end Jim Denver.
Wow. All right. Let's go ahead and break right there for a second. I think we had a triple right out the door. So I had an Elizabeth station. I'm going to ask to make sure I got this correct first. I was able to pull out Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo, Tango, Victor. Did I get that correct from the station from Elizabeth? Yes. Good. All right. Next station on my list, I was able to hear, but I'm not too sure if I got this correct. It was Kilo Charlie, 0, Victor, Foxtrot, Oscar, Kurt in Denver. If I got that correct.
Negative. I said Denver. I'm actually in Aurora. I'm in Aurora. Go ahead.
Copy. Aurora is on the correction. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, before Jim, Alpha Delta 0 Z Mike from Denver, there was another station I believe that was in there on that pileup. Let's see if we can pull out the third station. So right now, just to make sure, I'm going to give the suffixes I was able to pull out before we go on to the next person. I have Bravo Tango Victor, Victor Foxtrot Oscar, and Z Mike. There was one more station in there, I believe. Please come back. Okay. I can't understand packet very well, but I can understand voice. So let's go ahead and keep moving on with any stations that have not had a chance to check in. I'm asking for any call sign suffixes now. Any call signs. Please check in to the Colorado Preparedness Net this morning with your call sign and name slowly using phonetics by calling net control now. Hello, ECS 6 Sierra Bravo Alpha KI6 Alright, was there a Kilo Foxtrot station in there? Alright, let's go ahead and just try another round. Any station wanting to check into the Colorado Preparedness Net this morning, any and every call sign, please call net control, giving your name, or call sign and name slowly using phonetics now.
Kilo Zero Alpha Tango Victor Derek Colorado Springs K0 ATV.
Kilo Golf 0 Oscar Romeo 0 Gary Denver. Good morning, Jeremiah. How's it in?
Alpha Echo 0 November Bravo. Alpha Echo 0 November Bravo. Randy, Aurora.
Kilo Bravo 5, Lima Echo Alpha, Denise and Peyton.
Paula Springs K0 TWB.
Alright, let's go ahead and break down. I'm going to let the repeater reset. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's what happened in that. I had a couple stations that were able to check in. Definitely appreciate that. So I was able to pull out Kilo Zero ATV. I was able to pull out Kilo Golf Zero Oscar Romeo. I was able to pull out Alpha Echo Zero November Bravo Randy. Are there any corrections on those stations? Alright, hearing none. We had a double and we had a triple. So what I'm going to do is start with Kilo Bravo 5, I believe was Denise. We'll start with Denise for her to correct her call sign, and then I'll open it up again because I believe I heard a Kilo Echo station, a KF station. There was plenty of stations in there, but I'll open it up again for check-ins. But let's start with Kilo Bravo 5. Denise, please come back.
Kilo Bravo 5, Lima Echo Alpha, Denise and Peyton.
Alright, I copied Kilo Bravo 5, Lima, Echo, Alpha, Denise, and Peyton. Am I correct?
Roger, Roger.
Alright, I had a good copy on that call sign, so let's go ahead and open up again for another round of check-ins, slowly giving your call sign and name using phonetics. Please call net control now.
W0RCH Whiskey Zero Radio Charlie Hotel, Rich and Fountain, Colorado. Kilo Echo Zero Tango Whiskey Bravo, Tim, Colorado Springs, KE0 TWB.
I'm gonna go use the facilities real quick.
Okay, I had Whiskey Zero, RCH, that's Romeo Charlie, Hotel, Rich and Fountain. Hearing no corrections. And thank you for the check-ins. I definitely appreciate that this morning. So far, we're already up to 29 check-ins this morning. Thank you. Definitely appreciate the check-ins and everybody out there listening. Always appreciate that. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the main portion of the net. But before we do, what I'm going to say is that anytime during the net, if you did not get a chance to check in, just throw your call sign and name, and I'll check you in as well. But let's go ahead and move on to the main portion of the net. We'll give us roughly about a half hour to talk about our topic today. Today's topic is, what is your state of readiness? What is your state of readiness? And basically, we're going to talk about readiness compared to preparedness compared to self-reliance. And get some people's input into some research that has been done out into the, that's out there in the wild, but also bring that down into a very focused subject today. So, I'm going to reset the repeater right here. I'll be right back. This is November 0 Kilo Mike Oscar and 0 KFO Jeremiah for the Colorado Preparedness Net. Reset.
This is the Colorado Connection.
Alright, now that the repeater has made its announcement, let's go ahead and move on to the main portion of the net today. So, over the past few weeks, it's been a very interesting adventure of my life, I have to tell you that, and it's been amazing. I've been able to talk to a lot of amazing people, a lot of amazing things are happening, a lot of good movement in the preparedness industry, in the radio industry, and in other industries that are out there today. But somebody brought up a good point to me. And I was like, what is that? They said, well, your subject next week is going to be talking about what's the difference between self-reliance and preparedness. But what's the difference between preparedness and readiness? And I was like, well, that's a good point. So we sat down and talked about it for a little bit, and then I did a little bit more research and everything else, and went from there. So the research comes from a couple different areas of preparedness. And what I'm bringing to you today is the idea of readiness compared to preparedness compared to self-reliance. Let's start with preparedness, right? Every day, I make an effort to be in a preparedness advocate for disasters, events that could have happened in the state of Colorado specifically. And the reason why I look at preparedness leads into my readiness which leads into self-reliance. And the reason why I say that is, and a good example, Sunday nights. I walk over, I grab my work laptop, I put it into my day bag, put my power supply into my day bag, make sure I got everything ready. I set out my clothes for the next day, because I have a little palm tree that decides he has to go with me every time I go, so unfortunately now I have to close the door and quietly go get my outfit on for the day, and everything else. So that being said, I get prepared, right? But that also sets me up for the next subject, which is readiness. But my preparedness takes in a couple things. Number one, when I'm talking about being ready for the day, or my state of readiness, what am I ready for? My preparedness includes training, purchasing, inventory, planning, and other subjects as well there. But those are the primary that you'll see in your preparedness, because your preparedness is getting to a state where you're ready to take on anything and have an answer to that. Reset. because they were able to make a positive ID not only by that camera and so forth, but it was also me reaching out and saying to my community members, hey, we need a layer of some sort of defense or preparedness here to layer our homes so we can see what's going on in the neighborhood. And we now keep all of our front porch lights on. So it's always lit. The garage outside I have on not motion sensors but light sensors that automatically turn on at night. Now, so that's always lit. Camera is in that area as well too. Keep an eye on that. That's one area. Another area that a lot of people teach, lock the front door. Cut the shrubs down that I just mentioned. This is layering your defense for that kind of thing. Have a phone always charged, ready to call. Radio as well, ready to call for help. Reset. Another good preparedness in layering your home defense like that would be also considering purchase of a puppy. A lot of people are like, oh, I gotta go get German Shepherd. Actually, no, you don't. A good little pup. We have two of them. Getting ready to get a third. Our Pomchi, our little deer hide, or in the Chihuahua, she is the protector of the home. When we go out, we take the Pomchi with us. He protects the truck, and the Chihuahua protects the house. She will not let you in the house or near the house without letting us know. They're yappy, but there's a reason why they are talking to you. And understanding that communication between man's best friend is another good layer of defense. Also, knowing your plans to get off your property is that point too. If that's what it comes down to, how going out your back door, where's a good location to meet the family if somebody comes up as that point. Teaching the martial arts for years, the first thing, run away, talk, and then defend yourself. At that point, those are the three things that my students live by. That's the first thing I always teach my family. The home is insured. Your stuff's insured. It can be replaced. The long and short of it might take a while to replace it, but it can be replaced. That's also another layer of my preparedness. And a lot of insurance companies are looking at this as well. What's going on in there. So if they take the catalytic converter, good chance you can get it replaced as well. This is N0 KMO for the Colorado Preparedness Net. Reset. Steve, hopefully that answers some questions about preparedness, layers of defense to get ready for these kind of things. Alright, let's see if there's any other questions, comments out there for us today, and then we'll move on to the next portion of the subject, which is readiness, and define that. Okay, now that you've gone through training and some preparedness, and you've got your, let's say, food, water preparedness down, you've been doing your inventory, keeping on top of your rotation, you got your binder ready to go, now you're ready to sit down, your in case of emergency binder, you got your EDC, your everyday carry. A good example, I carry a Mystery Ranch bag with me now, that I switched over to. I was carrying just a laptop case, which is a pretty large case as well, fit my 17-inch, but you know, this beautiful new bag I was able to get my hands on. It was pricey, but it does the job what I need to do. And I can carry my lunch, my everyday carry, what I'm allowed to carry into the office. So I'm ready to answer, quote, ready to answer the questions I need to answer that I need to, I can still walk the truck and I can walk home. Again, that's my layer of preparedness, my layer of defense, my layer of being ready to go. A good example as well of being prepared to answer the question of pandemic. Do I need to run out and grab toilet paper? My family and I talked about it, we looked at it, we bought one extra pack just before everybody started running out and buying. And I basically said, okay, ration time. Everybody sat down and said, yes, we agree with that, and was able to actually work at that. We're ready to answer that question. Can we answer that question right now? And are we prepared to answer that question? Are you ready to walk home if you need to? Are you ready to bug out if there's a wildfire? Are you ready to leave the home with what you need for overnight in case somebody walks up to get that alternator, or not alternator, catalytic converter? Are you prepared to be ready to answer those questions? So readiness, or your state of ready, is the training that you're doing to prepare for answering those questions that you should be ready for every day. This is N0 Camo and Net Control for the Colorado Preparedness Net. Are there any questions or comments on readiness or preparedness as of this point?
Bravo Tango Victor, current comment?
My apologies, I hit the DFO knob. Kermit, please go ahead. Kermit, please go ahead.
Yeah, one thought that people don't tend to think of, especially in terms of the boulder fires, is personal documents, titles to your house, monthly payments, titles to your cars, get the information on that. Because if you do lose your house, well, I'll tell you, you're going to have a heck of a time getting all the information back out of the state or county in terms of the title to your home and your vehicles, DMV and stuff like that. So you should have several copies. If you have a go bag, if you carry a briefcase, you can carry copies of the financial and personal information on your possessions and things like that. Over.
Good point, Kermit. So yes, that's definitely in that route, right? You want to make sure in your preparedness binder, or your in case of emergency binder, another layer of defense and preparedness. Again, fire safe. That's something that I'm definitely looking at as well, right? Documents, USB drives, stuff like that. Safety deposit box, a copy of the key and a bag that you can grab going out your door. A safety deposit box, something off-site, right? That you might back up important documents or copies of important documents. It might cost you $35 a year, which actually, good point, Kermit. Mine is actually coming up for due right now. But it's something that every year, me and my wife, when we go look and take a look, what's in there? Oh, do you still need this document? Do we need this? Do we need to update a copy of our credit cards or IDs in here? Copies of birth certificates, marriage license, things like that. Definitely, good point, right? That's another level of preparedness to be prepared for, to go with you. Financial documents, passwords, and so forth. Another thing I do is I keep, I know this is more corporate structure of things, but I keep a lot of my receipts, like my payment receipts that might have account number and so forth, in an encrypted zip file that once a month I push up to, ironically, the cloud. And it's just an email address that my wife uses, a Google Drive. We just push it up there. We place the one that's up there, we push it up there, and at any time we can log in. So if there's a fire, oh look, we lost our documents, we don't have access to the key right now, but we do have account numbers, and we also have some passwords encrypted in there too, which gives us access to other systems, and it just keeps opening up doors for us. So that's a state of ready to answer that. That's preparedness to be ready to answer that question. Good point, Kermit.
when I take them to school in the wintertime, and I tell them to wear a winter jacket, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, it's warm at school. I don't need a jacket." And I say, "Well, what would happen if the truck broke down and we had to walk home?" Being able to walk home from wherever you're at is something we should all be cognizant of. For those of you who go to work and you have to wear a suit every day, well, guess what? You should have a pair of comfortable boots or sneakers in your car as well, because those fancy polished loafers aren't going to do so good after the first mile. So just putting it out there, whenever you go anywhere, you should be ready to be able to walk home with a nice jacket, nice shoes, your go bag with some snack bars in it, whatever. But at any given time, I am always ready to walk home, and I think everyone else should be too. Back to that.
ATV, great point, because this is going to lead into the last bit, which we have roughly 10 minutes to talk about. This is going to be self-reliance. Now, what does self-reliance mean? Self-reliance, I hear a lot of different terms for and definitions for this. Everything we've talked about, being ready to answer those questions that you've prepared for, your training with your self-defense, your training for, building your comms plan for radio preparedness, right, for communication preparedness. Here's the question for you. How many people actually carry a handheld into work? I can tell you right now I carry 3. And they're actually on the outside of my bag, and everybody gives me a bad time. Oh, it looks like you had an antenna farm. Ironically, I'm also on the emergency planning committee for my building as well. So one of those radios is for that reason. But how many actually, prepare and take an extra battery and large handheld antenna so they can get out and a headset and with them to work? And now, granted, some places might not allow that, but to an extent, right? I mean, if you have a security station at work that say, well, you can't take your cell phone and your radio, you can't take it. Okay, fine, I'm leaving my radio and cell phone here, but I know where it's at in case of an emergency, right? You know where to go get that. But self-reliance means the idea of actually being able to rely on what you prepared for, your readiness to answer the questions by yourself. The reliance on your family, on your group. Let's say if you have a preparedness group in your area as well, your neighborhood, your extended, right? That's all self-reliant. You're not relying on grid, you're not relying on supply chain for a while, you're not relying on anything else. As a matter of fact, I just told my family last week, I'm done ordering some stuff for a while. I'm done. I don't want to spend any money on it. I looked in the preparedness, did the inventory. You guys aren't just using this stuff right now. Let's start eating like what we should be. Eating those leftovers. We should be prepared to answer those questions. You guys should be good to go. I've got jar food. Let's do this. Eat the food first, right? Let me rotate that stuff in so I'm just keeping my inventory up. Do I need to rely on the grid for some of those stuff? Eventually, or the supply chain eventually. But right now, we're just going into a month where I don't need to order for a couple weeks, which will be nice. That's my self-reliance, where I don't need to worry about the supply chain for a little bit. The only thing I got to worry about is whether the lights stay on and paying my mortgage, and of course other phone bills and so forth. But that's the day-to-day, right? That's the things that we normally answer. But it's the self-reliance of me going to work and so forth. Again, self-reliance is that definition, true definition. I can generate power if I need it. If the power goes out, I can generate that. I can, during the summer months, I can feed my family on vegetables out of the garden. We have food stored away, canned meat stored away, if we really need to survive on that for a while. The idea is, are you ready to be self-reliant without having to worry about the supply chain?
And with that, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. Non-weaponized preparedness, signing off for now.